Have you ever reached a point where you looked around and there was no one, no friend to call, no family member who truly understood, no mentor who could guide you? That silence when the world feels indifferent is where most people stop. But for some, that same silence becomes the spark for transformation. Carl Jung believed that the moments of deepest isolation are not punishments, they are invitations. Invitations to meet the one person who has the power to change your entire destiny, yourself. Today, we're exploring what happens in those moments of profound solitude, when the noise of the world fades and you're left face to face with the truth of who you really are. We'll see why loneliness, though painful, can become the most transformative force in your life, and how Jung's ideas on the shadow, self-realization, and inner authority can help you not just survive isolation, but evolve through it. Because once you learn to move forward alone, you stop depending on the world to define your strength. You start creating it from within. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and join our Telegram community for early access to new videos and insights on personal and spiritual growth. When you lose the presence of others, you are forced to confront the presence of yourself. It's not comfort, it's confrontation. Jung understood that solitude dismantles the false structures we build to survive socially. The need to be liked, the habit of performing, the instinct to fit in. When all of that falls away, you come face to face with your unfiltered self. That encounter can feel like standing before a stranger, yet it's within that unfamiliarity that true transformation begins. Jung called it individuation, the process of becoming what you truly are, instead of what the world conditioned you to be. Society's noise keeps you asleep inside borrowed roles. Solitude wakes you up. Most people fear that awakening, because it feels like losing everything familiar. But what's really dying is the version of you built for approval. When no one is there for you, you're given the rare opportunity to rebuild, not as someone's reflection, but as your own foundation. Solitude, when met with awareness, becomes a hidden school. It teaches you to observe your thoughts without reacting, to notice your patterns without judgment, and to realize that peace doesn't come from company, but from inner coherence. As you learn to hold your own presence, the absence of others stops being a wound. It becomes freedom. Left alone long enough, something begins to stir beneath the surface. Jung called it the shadow, the repressed part of the psyche that carries everything we've denied. Anger, envy, shame, power, truth. Most people avoid it, hiding behind distraction, politeness, or ambition. But isolation removes the masks. There's nowhere left to hide. The more you resist the shadow, the louder it becomes. Yet when you finally stop running, it starts to reveal its wisdom. The emotions you once labeled as weaknesses turn into signals. Anger shows you where your boundaries were crossed. Jealousy exposes what you've longed to claim. Fear points toward your deepest potential. Jung believed that these forces, when integrated, don't destroy you, they complete you. To move forward when no one is there, you must learn to converse with your darkness, ask it questions, listen to what it's been protecting. Often, you'll discover that what you feared most was guarding your greatest strength. Real growth doesn't come from comfort or external validation. It begins when you confront what frightens you, and stay long enough to understand it. That's where genuine maturity is born. Once you face the shadow, solitude changes its texture. The silence that once felt heavy begins to refine you. Jung believed that true authority, real, grounded confidence, emerges only from inner alignment. When no one is guiding you, every decision becomes an act of self-trust. You begin to see how much of your life was built on imitation, the way you spoke, dressed, or believed. Without an audience, the performance ends. Authenticity begins. This is the emergence of what Jung called the self, the center that unites the conscious and unconscious mind. It isn't about ego or arrogance. It's about tuning into the deeper intelligence that's been whispering beneath the noise all along. Your intuition sharpens, your values clarify, your energy aligns. You stop chasing validation and start following coherence. You act, not to be seen, but because it feels right. That's inner authority, quiet, steady, unshakable. You stop asking who will support me, and realize I can support myself. The more you trust that compass, the less absence feels like loss, and the more it feels like space to grow. Pain, Jung said, is not chaos, it's communication. Suffering is the psyche's signal for transformation. Every heartbreak, betrayal, and silence carries information about where your life must evolve. When you stop seeing pain as punishment, it becomes a compass pointing toward what you've neglected. Your creativity, your voice, your individuality. In isolation, the ego collapses, but the self begins to rise. Pain is energy, raw, unprocessed, powerful. If suppressed, it poisons you. If faced, it fuels you. If faced, it fuels you. The most centered people are often those who walk through pain alone. They use their wounds as raw material for meaning, not as proof of victimhood. They didn't wait for rescue, they rebuilt themselves from within. Jung wrote, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." It's not here to destroy you, but to wake you up, to redirect your energy toward purpose, not fear. By the time you emerge from solitude, you are no longer who you were. You faced your shadow, discovered your strength, and built an authority no approval can grant. What remains is completeness, a quiet knowing that you are finally enough. Jung called this the process of individuation, the return to your true nature. It's the alignment of your inner and outer worlds, where your actions reflect your essence, and solitude no longer frightens you because you've met the self you once avoided. At that point, you don't chase belonging. You attract resonance. You don't crave validation. You embody clarity. You see that being alone was never abandonment, it was preparation. The world celebrates connection, but often forgets that self-knowledge is the foundation of every genuine relationship. Once you've met yourself completely, you can meet others without losing who you are. And when that happens, life opens again. Not because someone finally showed up for you, but because you did. When no one is there for you, it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your real one. The greatest advantage you'll ever have isn't support, luck, or timing. It's self-awareness. And once awakened, it never leaves you.